A MAGA icon who at one time was considered to be the biggest loyalist, sycophant, and number one driver of the Trump train just escalated her attack on dear leader, and I have all the delightful derailment details for you next. We have done other stories on Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene going rogue on Trump as of late, but this one is next level because of the language she used that underlines her disgust and defiance. I think her past transgressions were forgivable, but this time she crossed a line that will never be erased or forgotten by our thin-skinned and vengeful leader. Since we're talking about Republican defection, let's begin with a CNN report outlining the implosion and exodus that Trump is facing over Epstein. Have a look, and on the other side, I'll share what the Georgia Fireball just said that signals her relationship with the Mayor McCheese of Mar-a-Lago is fried.
Any response to the Epstein emails that mention your name?
And I'll tell you, I talked to a number of Trump allies who have told me that they are perplexed by the White House's response to this, that there is a lot of confusion as to why it is that they are putting this out there in bits and pieces or allowing this to be essentially something that they are on the defense about instead of the offense. And I do just want to point out Manu's interviews there. I mean, that is absolutely stunning when it comes to this administration. You almost never see a break like that from what the administration is wanting and members of the Republican Party on Capitol Hill pushing back in those kind of numbers.
Yeah, we expect to vote probably earlier next week, potentially as early as Tuesday. And the big question is going to be not if this will pass, but by how much and how many Republicans will ultimately break ranks. And talking to Republican sources, they are bracing for mass defections from the White House. And the big number to watch here is whether or not 2/3 of the House majority will vote for this. And that, of course, is the important number because that is a veto-proof majority if it does get to that. In talking to Republicans today, it seems like that is possible at this point. Now, Trump, of course, will lay pressure down. Maybe they'll change the calculus here, but a lot of Republicans are making the decision that, look, we support full transparency. It's going to be hard for them to stomach voting against a bill simply calling for the release of these files that could shed new light over this sex trafficking ring. So that's going to be the big question in the next week or so. Well, how many of those members that I've been speaking to, they represent a broad cross-section of the Republican conference. Many of the more conservative members have long called for a release of the Epstein files. But a lot of the moderate members, too, they are supporting this as well, including ones from swing districts who certainly don't want to vote on a vote that could give their Democratic opponents ammunition in a general election, which is a big reason why the Republican leadership essentially wanted to rip the Band-Aid off, have the vote next week, because this was coming to the floor at the latest by early December. So have the vote next week, let it be done with, and then it will pass. And if there is a 2/3 majority or even close to that, it's going to put enormous pressure on Senate Republican leadership to put this on the floor of their chamber because they have no interest in putting this on the floor right now. But big Republican support could change that calculus as well.
So that represents the dam that is bursting on the Donald over Epstein. And here's Marjorie Taylor Greene taking a sledgehammer to Trump's narrative about the economy. Not only is she critical, but she uses a word that will surely get her banished from Trump's inner circle forever. And she knows that, which makes it more stunning.
President Trump and his administration does deserve a lot of credit for lowering inflation and holding it steady. But that doesn't bring prices down. And so gaslighting the people and trying to tell them that prices have come down is not helping. It's actually infuriating people because people know what they're paying at the grocery store. They know what they're paying for their kids' clothes and school supplies. They know what they're paying for their electricity bills. And so that approach does not work. We need compassion and show that we care about the American people and show that we are in the trenches with them on what they're going through. That's first and foremost. You don't gaslight them, you don't lecture them, and you don't deny what's happening. $2,000 stimulus checks are not going to help anybody pay for their health insurance. That's not going to work. That is actually going to drive inflation.
Marjorie Taylor Greene called Donald Trump a gaslighter. What a spectacular moment. To summarize, we have multiple defections going on with a common thread. As a one-term president, Trump doesn't hold the same power, and Republicans are worried about the damage he's doing. Trump's tanking of the economy spells doom, and they're terrified that if they side with him on Epstein, they will be handing their future opponents a dagger. Who would have thought that the person to bring down Trump would be Trump and the party to spin his chaos into Democrat gold would be the Republicans? Do you feel what I feel? It's the political pendulum swinging. Donald Trump took it to the extreme right, and now it's whipping back and smacking him in his orange face. I'm Dan, and that's what I think. What do you think these defections signal? Please comment below, and let's continue to occupy democracy together.